Hi there. 3 years ago, I was offered a pretty good chance. So I was in the middle of my tenure track still, and the people organizing the sort of broader program offered to get feedback for our ongoing research from the advisory panel and some other external big shot professors. So, of course, I was happy to do that. And I presented my best game, of course, and I was kind of expecting to be praised because I was thinking that I'm doing all right. And like, I didn't worry too much about what the feedback would be. And when I got the feedback, I was super disappointed. And obviously, obviously they had their best intentions in mind, like they were trying to give me good feedback, and probably they even give me good feedback. It's not about that, but the feedback was not what I was expecting. What I heard instead of like, okay, it seems that everything is going fine, is that you have no research field. You cannot possibly make an impact if you're focusing on so many things. You're doing stuff on the left and right and in the middle, and you kind of don't have any kind of narrow area for yourself to claim. And one of them was especially harsh and just saying that he doesn't have any comments except that you just need to focus on something. So I was pretty shocked of getting butchered this way, despite expecting perhaps a little bit more positive or maybe in some praise. And of course, like I said, I don't blame them. They had good intentions in mind, and I'm sure that that advice works for some. But that's the thing, it doesn't work for everyone. It didn't work for me, and it still doesn't work for me. My brains don't work that way. Maybe yours don't either. If you want to do many things, maybe you're even in a career stage where it makes sense to do many things, because saying no to a lot of things is not necessarily good advice when you're still a super early in your career and you just have to do things. And also, it makes sense to do things to find out what you really like. But then the same thing happens online. Like people look at your credentials, they look at your background, and they kind of say that, okay, you are not qualified to comment or even try to give your expert opinion on things that you are knowledgeable about because your PhD is from a different field. Same thing happens to me all the time. Like I'm super interested in healthcare and well-being, and I'm fairly well read in some of those topics as well. But on some of them, I just have personal opinions. And then when I go and comment on some things online, people are saying that you are not allowed to talk about this because you are a computer science PhD, or like your opinions don't matter. And literally, I've been told to stay in your lane. And this is so wrong. So of course you can take part in any kind of discussions. If you have the capabilities to publish in different fields, you can do that as well. It is really insane that people are trying to hold you back from participating in discussions or publishing in different fields than yours just because of you have to stay in your lane. And I think that the people who dismiss your ideas and you based on your background alone are just secretly scared that you might outsmart them in their own domain. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, and I'm going to try to convince you that you should ignore people who try to put you in a box, especially if that box is something that you don't really like about. So let's talk about why academic lanes are a form of BS. So by lanes, of course, we mean your designated research focus and where you kind of mentally should be boxed right now. So your advisors, maybe some external forces are trying to tell you that you need to focus on this and this alone. And again, I will tell you that yes, in the beginning of your career, it makes sense to focus on something, but just keep an open mind. If we look at history, Leonardo da Vinci, master of art, science, engineering, anatomy, and architecture, he did everything. Did he stay in his lane? I don't think so. Marie Curie, Nobel Prizes in both physics and chemistry. First woman to win a Nobel Prize and the only person to win in two different scientific fields. Again, no one lane. Benjamin Franklin, one of my favorite examples. He was a writer, scientist, inventor, politics guy. I guess that's called a politician. Diplomat, helping draft the Declaration of Independence and negotiating Treaty of Paris, ending the Revolutionary War, doing a lot of invention at the same time. There's no lane. And of course, I know these are genius people, and you and I might not have the same intellectual faculties as these people have, but the principle is the same. You don't need to stick to your one lane. Maybe it might make your life easier, but will it make your life happier? And as I always say, key to actually enjoying academia is enjoy academia. And if you enjoy exploring a lot of different fields, well, you should probably do that. because otherwise you'll become miserable and you quit. I want you to quit. I want you to stay. So that's the thing. Really, it makes sense to keep an open mind and have your sort of arms open for different fields that might interest you at some point. These lanes are often just a way to silence you. Now, there is a counterpoint to be made. What are the benefits of focusing on a single field? Sticking to one research area really also works in some senses. Expertise and efficiency. You're going to master one research domain way faster and just going to generally speed up everything for you. Funding. When you're applying for grants, established track record in one research area makes just everything a lot easier, and people will look at you like you're the expert because you are the expert in that field. And it just makes for a more credible application. Networking. People will contact you instead of you having to hunt down everyone when you are known to be the expert in one area. And this is a big one. And this also plays to the funding as well, because you get invited to funding proposals later on when you are an expert in one research area. You get invited to papers. This happens, I guess, a bit seldom these days. People have their own tight bubbles to write with. But if you build a reputation that you're always available and willing to help people, yes, this will happen too. So specializing in one research area has real benefits, but only if it's your choice to do this, not someone else telling you that. Just stick to that and stay there. Now, the next point I want to make is that being an interdisciplinary is a real modern superpower. And personal fulfillment always beats following kind of arbitrary rules that someone else tells you. Like there is this saying, stay in your lane. Do not stay in your lane if that doesn't give you personal fulfillment. If it does, great, do that. It's fun to have fun, and it's important that you enjoy academia to the maximum extent. But if you don't want to stay in your lane, do not stay in your lane just because somebody tells you. But the modern world is also characterized by wicked problems. You know the term wicked problems. So there's lots of new situations, complex situations that require super deep systems thinking, requires knowledge from multiple domains. So you cannot rely on perfecting yourself in one field and one field only and think that you are going to be able to contribute super meaningfully to society that way. David Epstein has a great book, Range, Why Journalists Triumph, and I'm going to probably leave the link somewhere below in the description. That book shows that starting around 1999, the biggest impacts in the world have come from people who spread their expertise across different technological domains and not from those who just master one. And I think the same is also now true for the academic landscape. Like super narrow thinking will make you an expert in that one topic, but it's not going to lead into truly great breakthroughs and even just papers. Like the best papers, the most interesting papers that I read always combine a couple of different domains, at least theoretical lenses from different domains, and then look at the findings or data from another domain through those lenses. So you need to understand different fields. Complex problems need diverse perspectives. I guess that's the way to say it. And if you get these diverse experiences first and then specialize later, it's going to help your own like skills and creativity and innovation as well, because exploring all these multiple paths, multiple ideas first helps you identify and reveal your true strengths and interests, so to say. So it kind of allows you to discover what you are, what you really are, who you really are, and what is the possible future for yourself. And then you can also start to practice like analogical thinking, where you transfer insights across domains. So if you learn something in domain 1, you can identify areas and problems in domain 2 where you can apply that knowledge to solve problems. And it just makes you a better, more useful person in academia in general when you can at least talk the language of people in different fields. And not to mention that you just become a kinder person because you can appreciate how hard work they're also doing. I remember when I was younger, there were some of my own mentors, even they were kind of looking down on several other fields because they didn't understand what they're doing. And thank God I started to also explore what these other guys in the other fields are doing, because now I can appreciate them and their work much better. And I can work with them because I don't need to be scared of what they're doing. So just explore a lot of fields. And this will also help you become the connector, the person who connects different fields and different people, for example, in funding applications and papers. So it's beneficial for you as well to understand different fields. You become the bridge of sorts to that other people will recognize that, okay, this guy will be able to connect me to the right people and right research areas in general. So be deep in your own area. Please do that so you are an expert, but be curious about many other fields. Just stay open-minded and stay curious. This is always the key to all kinds of personal satisfaction in academia, in my opinion, at least, that you stay curious and open-minded. Final point. You do not need anyone's permission to explore what genuinely interests you. Most academics, at some point, forget they have these choices. And the rest forget that even supervisors and, your mentors, the people you look up to, they're just also human beings capable of being wrong. I'm capable of being wrong, for sure. If you don't like what I'm saying, ignore it. But also, I just really want you to remember that the people who are telling you to stick into your lane, never explore anything new, they might be wrong. And if you just follow their vision, you might just end up miserable. Academic life is good. It can be good if you make it good for you. So feel free to explore different things. Focus on a thing. I mean, I know people who have focused on a thing A, for 10 years, and then for thing B for another 10 years. That's fine. 20 years, 2 things. You can do much faster. You can iterate more rapidly. These days, especially, information is so readily available everywhere that it is relatively trivial to explore different domains for a couple of years at a time to see what new doors that opens and if that is for you. So choose your own path. And, academia can actually be fun. And this is not something that you can just brush off lightly and keep focusing somewhere and then keep complaining how everything is just boring and nasty because you haven't knocked on all the doors possible. So whether somebody tells you, whether you have chosen yourself to just stick in one lane, it doesn't need to be for you. So most interesting work, it really happens at the intersections of different domains and topics. So try to explore that. Refuse to be boxed in based on external expectations and just explore things, even secretly from your supervisor. Don't tell them that I told you to do that though. So no lanes, just learning. Keep learning. Don't worry about the lanes. Until next time, just keep doing you and keep refusing to be put in some kind of a box because somebody, a wise person somewhere tells you that you have to focus narrowly in one area on. That is my message today. And by there, this was my short rant about focusing on one research area, or rather not focusing on one research area based on true story. All right, so let me know in the comments what you think about your research focus and maybe also what would you like to hear about next? Because, I was supposed to start shooting these videos already 6 months ago, but I never really got to do it. So I am planning to do a lot more of these this year just to, venture into the unknown. So let me know. Bye-bye. See you.